a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Elimination Chamber, 2018. Elimination Chamber in Germany was a professional wrestling pay-per-view event and WWE Network event produced by WWE for the Raw brand. It took place on February 25, 2018, at T-Mobile Arena in the Las Vegas Valley, in Paradise, Nevada. It was the 8th event under the Elimination Chamber chronology, and the final Raw exclusive pay-per-view under the second brand split as following WrestleMania 34. All WWE pay-per-views will be dual-branded, featuring wrestlers from both the Raw and SmackDown brands. The 2018 event was also the first to feature a 7-man Elimination Chamber match, the first event to include a women's Elimination Chamber match, and the first Raw exclusive pay-per-view since the 2016 reintroduction of the brand extension to not feature any cruiserweight division matches. 6 matches were contested at the event, including one on the pre-show. In the main event, Roman Reigns won the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match to become the #1 contender against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. On the undercard, Alexa Bliss retained the Raw Women's Championship in the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match, and Asuka defeated Nia Jax to extend her undefeated streak and to keep Jax from being added to her WrestleMania 34 Championship match. The event was also notable for Ronda Rousey signing her WWE Raw contract, where she had a confrontation with Chief Operating Officer Triple H and Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, which was the former's first appearance since the night after Survivor Series. Storylines. The card comprised 6 matches, including one on the pre-show, that resulted from scripted storylines and had results predetermined by WWE on the Raw brand. Storylines were produced on WWE's weekly television show Monday Night Raw. The card was highlighted by 2 Elimination Chamber matches, one of which was the first to involve women, and the Men's Chamber match was the first to have 7 participants. At the Royal Rumble, Shinsuke Nakamura won the Men's Royal Rumble match and decided to stay on SmackDown to challenge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 34. This left Brock Lesnar, who, at the same event, retained his Universal Championship in a triple threat match against Braun Strowman and Kane, without an opponent at WrestleMania. In response, Raw General Manager Kurt Angle scheduled an Elimination Chamber match to determine the #1 contender for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania. 6 qualification matches were scheduled. The first 3 were contested on the January 29 episode of Raw. In the first, Strowman defeated Kane in a last man standing match to qualify. Kane was taken to a local medical center after the match. Elias then qualified by defeating Woken Matt Hardy after a distraction from Bray Wyatt, and free agent John Cena defeated Finn Balor to qualify. The following week, Elias defeated Cena and Strowman in a triple threat match to determine who would get to enter the chamber last. That same episode, Roman Reigns and Intercontinental Champion The Miz qualified by defeating Wyatt and Apollo Crews, respectively. On the next episode, Cena defeated The Miz in a match where the loser would be one of the men to start the chamber match. Later, the final qualification match took place in what was originally a second chance fatal 4-way match between Balor, Wyatt, Hardy, and Apollo. However, Angle added Seth Rollins, thus making it a fatal 5-way. Rollins and Balor both simultaneously pinned Wyatt, and it was decided that both would be a part of the Elimination Chamber match, marking the first 7-man chamber match. The following week, all 7 men participated in a gauntlet match that began with Reigns and Rollins. Reigns was eliminated, followed by Cena. Elias then eliminated Rollins, but was in turn eliminated by Balor, who was eliminated by The Miz. Strowman won the gauntlet match by pinning The Miz in what was the longest match in WWE history, lasting nearly 2 hours. On the January 29 episode of Raw, Commissioner Stephanie McMahon convinced Asuka, who won the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble match the previous night at the Royal Rumble, to wait until after Elimination Chamber to pick which championship to challenge for at WrestleMania 34. As Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss was scheduled to defend her title in the first ever Women's Elimination Chamber match. The following week, General Manager Kurt Angle announced that Bayley, Mandy Rose, Mickie James, Sasha Banks, and Sonya Deville would be the other competitors in the match. Bliss came out and questioned Angle as to why she had to defend her title in the Elimination Chamber match while Universal Champion Brock Lesnar did not, and accused Angle of sexism. Angle retorted that Lesnar retained his title at the Royal Rumble, but Bliss had not defended her title since TLC, Tables, Ladders and Chairs in October. Bliss made the point that she was not the one who schedules matches. Angle then took an audience vote if Bliss should defend the title, and the audience agreed that she should. The following week, Bayley defeated Banks, and Rose and Deville defeated Bliss and James, who Bliss tried to befriend. The next episode, Bayley, Banks, and James defeated Bliss, Rose, and Deville by submission, after which, the women brawled. On the January 15th episode of Raw, Asuka defeated Nia Jax after the referee stopped the match, who deemed Jax unable to continue. Both then competed in the inaugural Women's Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble, which Asuka won for the right to challenge for either the Raw Women's Championship or SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 34. On the February 5th episode of Raw, General Manager Kurt Angle announced that Jax would face Asuka at Elimination Chamber, and if she were to defeat Asuka, Jax would be added to Asuka's championship match at WrestleMania to make it a triple threat match. The following week, after a match between Bayley and Sasha Banks, Jax attacked both women to send a message to Asuka. Whilst walking up the ramp, she proclaimed that she would be the one to end Asuka's undefeated streak. The following week, Jax attacked and laid out Asuka during her interview with Renee Young. Following Asuka's Royal Rumble match victory at the Royal Rumble, former UFC star Ronda Rousey made an appearance and interrupted Asuka. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss, and SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Rousey's appearance confirmed that she had signed full-time with WWE. On the February 12th episode of Raw, it was announced that Rousey would sign her Raw contract at Elimination Chamber. After losing a feud to Elias, Matt Hardy was defeated by Bray Wyatt on the November 27, 2017 episode of Raw. Following the match, Hardy had a mental breakdown, where he sat in the corner and repeatedly shouted, "Delete," with an arm gesture. This would be the genesis of Hardy's transition into Woken Matt Hardy, where he debuted as the character the following week, interrupting a promo by Wyatt. Over the following month, the two went back and forth in promos as well as a couple of in-ring confrontations, and they finally had a match on Raw 25 on January 22, 2018, in which Wyatt again defeated Hardy. The two then faced off in the Royal Rumble match, where they eliminated each other. On the February 19th episode of Raw, another match between the two was scheduled for Elimination Chamber. Prior to the Royal Rumble, Titus Worldwide gained 2 consecutive wins over number 1 contenders Cesaro and Sheamus, who at the Royal Rumble won the Raw Tag Team Championship from Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins to become record 4-time champions as a team, and a record 5th reign for Cesaro individually. Titus Worldwide received a title opportunity on Raw immediately following the Royal Rumble, but were unsuccessful, and Cesaro and Sheamus also retained their titles in Jordan and Rollins' contractual rematch, though Roman Reigns subbed for an injured Jordan. On the February 19th episode of Raw, Titus Worldwide had non-title match against Cesaro and Sheamus and again defeated the champions. Afterwards, they challenged Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championship at Elimination Chamber for being 3-1 over the champions, which was made official on February 23. On February 23, Balor Club members Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were scheduled to face the Miz Taraj on the Elimination Chamber pre-show. During the pre-show, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson of the Balor Club faced the Miz Taraj. In the climax, Gallows and Anderson performed the Magic Killer on Axel for the win. Preliminary matches. The actual pay-per-view opened with the first-ever Women's Elimination Chamber match in which Alexa Bliss defended the Raw Women's Championship against Bayley, Sonya Deville, Sasha Banks, Mandy Rose, and Mickie James. Bayley and Deville were the first 2 contestants. Rose entered next and teamed up with Deville in attacking Bayley. Banks entered third and immediately attacked both Deville and Rose. Rose was eliminated after tapping out to the Banks statement by Banks. James then entered and eliminated Evil after a Luther's press from the top of a pod. Following this, Bayley performed a Bayley to belly on James to eliminate her. Defending champion Bliss entered last and was hesitant to enter, so Bliss climbed the pod instead. Banks was able to knock her down on top of a pod. Banks then turned her attention to Bayley, and Bayley subsequently gave Banks a Bayley to belly. Bliss eliminated Bayley with a roll-up. Bliss then performed Twisted Bliss on Banks. Bliss then won the match after hitting a top rope DDT on Banks to retain her title. After the match, an elated Bliss said that nobody thought that she would remain champion and that she proved why she is the ultimate goddess of the women's division. Next, Cesaro and Sheamus defended the Raw Tag Team Championship against Titus Worldwide. In the end, Cesaro and Sheamus performed a super white noise on Apollo to retain the title. After that, Asuka faced Nia Jax, where if Jax won, she would be added to Asuka's championship match at WrestleMania 34. Jax dominated most of the match. In the end, Jax attempted a powerbomb on Asuka only for Asuka to reverse it into a roll-up pin for the win and keeping Jax out of her WrestleMania championship match. After the match, Jax tackled Asuka through the ringside barricade near the timekeeper's area. Bliss was later interviewed and looked pleased with what transpired between Asuka and Jax. Bliss then mocked Asuka by declaring that no one is ready for her. In the fourth match, Woken, Matt Hardy fought Bray Wyatt. In the climax, Hardy won by hitting a twist of fate on Wyatt. Next was the Raw contract signing of Ronda Rousey. General Manager Kurt Angle, Commissioner Stephanie McMahon, and WWE's Chief Operating Officer Triple H bragged about Rousey before introducing her. However, before Rousey signed her contract, Triple H confirmed that there were no special stipulations in Rousey's contract, but she would compete in a match at WrestleMania 34. Angle then brought up the incident from WrestleMania 31 where Rousey and The Rock embarrassed Stephanie and Triple H, and said that Triple H and Stephanie were now glad that they owned Rousey so they could manipulate her. Triple H and Stephanie tried to clear the air, however, Angle instigated the tension more, which resulted in Rousey putting Triple H through a table. Stephanie then slapped Rousey, but retreated before Rousey could attack her. Rousey then signed her contract. Main event. The main event was the first ever 7-man Elimination Chamber match, with the victor becoming the #1 contender against Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. Due to the extra participant, 3 men began the match instead of 2, which were The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. John Cena entered the match as the 4th entrant, followed by Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Strowman performed a running power slam on The Miz to eliminate him. The last man to enter the match was Elias, who earned that right on an episode of Raw. Strowman then eliminated Elias, Cena, Balor, and Rollins by performing a running power slam on each of them. The final 2 were Strowman and Reigns. In the climax, Reigns performed 3 Superman punches and 2 spears on Strowman to win the match and earn the right to challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. After the match, Strowman attacked Reigns with 2 running power slams and tackled Reigns through one of chamber pods. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?